Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's episode of Ask Sibs. It's been a real journey this week. We've done the big personal development and professional developmental financial target I've got for 2021, which was on Monday, and a general sort of back to work, new year type vibe. And then yesterday there was, of course, the stuff around the lockdown and some of the sort of personal thoughts on mindset and all the rest of it. I am back again with the slightly awkward angle on Instagram. Hi, Josh. Good to see you. I am in the middle of still trying to work out. I still can't connect StreamYard on the laptop to Instagram. And I really want to bring these Ask Sibs episodes to my Instagram followers as well. So I'm trying to work out a practical way that I'm able to get my phone at a better angle whereby I can still reach it. So I've been having a few conversations with different people, but if you're an engineer and you've got a way that, if you know, I can't reach very far at all, so I would need to be able to place the phone onto said bracket where the bracket is higher up at a nicer camera angle than what's happening down below me at the moment from my phone. And yeah, just be a way to go on Instagram live at the same time as doing the one on StreamYard, which goes to Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and LinkedIn as well. But is practical within my physical limitations. And yeah, get in touch if you've got any gadgety, techie solutions. But in the meantime, those of you on the normal channels have got the usual webcam view I'm more looking towards. And those on Instagram get this little upside down kind of look from below on my tray. So anyway, today, we're looking at how does Purple Goat connect disabled consumers and all types of brands. And really, this is just a great question to give a bit of a summary of, to a degree, some of the lessons. I've definitely upskilled and built out a really bigger, better knowledge base and had some really good experiences with current clients and campaigns. So I get to just reflect a bit on some of those things since Purple Goat launched that have been interesting for me. But as always, this is more about giving value to you. And as I put on the description, particularly if you are an influencer or a marketeer, then this question and answer, today's episode, is going to be of more interest to you. And I think generally curious people might also just be interested in some of the topics I talk about. So I guess to start off with, I always come back to when I was at uni. I did my master's in marketing. Day one, literally first lecture of the course, was that marketing is listening to your consumers, understanding their needs and wants, making changes, or if you're a startup, creating a product or service that is a solution and adds value to that consumer base, that audience, and then telling them that you've done it. Now, what's been so frustrating, looking down at Instagram, just want to say hi to Kiara, Mendel Home Forever, and Victoria. So good to see you on Instagram, and thanks for the shout outs. And on Facebook, Trish is saying good afternoon as well. So hello to everyone watching this live. I hope you find some of this interesting and useful. So yes, in terms of, that's the basic 101 marketing principle, is you understand the needs and wants of a group of people, you make it, and then you tell them that you've done it. So what's really frustrating from on a personal level, having a disability, but on a broader community level, is that businesses, and this, what's sometimes worse is businesses that actually have products and services for disabled people, so like wheelchairs and medical equipment, they're as guilty as mainstream brands that sell to all sorts of people that obviously includes disabled people. But it's almost worse, I think, when a company, I'm talking historically, and of course there's always caveats, there are people that do it better than others, etc., etc. But ultimately, a lot of people have made this crime, in my eyes, of actually making products and services without speaking to disabled people, and then also not really telling us about it. And partly that was possible because there were sort of gatekeepers in the past. There were the sort of medical professionals. There was physios, OTs, people at school setting, workplace setting. Like it was not always that the disabled person was the one that got to make the decision, and thankfully that's been changing more and more, and that's making a big difference. So when we look at how we're connecting brands with disabled consumers, first and foremost, it comes back to our tagline, nothing about us without us. That's been a disability rights phrase for a long while, and it's our tagline at Purple Goat. And it's as simple as that. Whether it's a medical device type company, as in, wheelchairs and a particular thing that's made for disabled people, or it's a supermarket or a holiday company, you have to speak to representatives of the 1.3 billion disabled population. In the UK, it's 14 million. So the other little thing we have to keep educating people is this isn't a small group. We are disabled people. We are not just a tiny little community. There's a lot of people with different types of disability, but as a community, we're massive. And so that's another big part. We've been educating brands in the mainstream on the business case, the purple pound, the $8 trillion global spending power, all the business case stuff. But in the end, it's speak to disabled people, understand our needs and wants as consumers, and then make any relevant changes, and then tell us, okay? It's really that basic marketing 101 should be applicable to disabled people the way it is in any business, in any consumer group. So that's the first point that's really, 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 really important. Nothing about us without us. And then the second part is more generic digital marketing, social marketing, whether you're dealing with disability or not. And I just wanted to break down the two key levers that a good marketer has at the moment in this social media world, and that's organic and paid. And that's been, for me, the big, game changer since we've been doing more and more with Purple Goat, obviously learning a lot from our sister agency, the Goat agency, that are global leaders in this space. But, just really cutting down the difference between those two has been vital. And so what is organic, first of all? Well, organic is basically, as you know, we work a lot with influencers. So anyone that's got like a blog or presence on Instagram, YouTube, all the kind of social channels, and they've built up a reasonable following. And reasonable doesn't always mean millions. We work with influencers that sometimes have a couple of thousand, could be 10,000, could be 50,000, but the follower numbers are not the overall only defining factor. But the point is that they've built up a community, an engaged group of people that follow them. And so one powerful way, if you have a brand and you want to raise awareness of your brand, or a particular product that you want to raise awareness of the benefits, you can work with a representative of a very particular niche community. So rather than just a disabled person and then go in terms of there's a lot of us, as I said before, you could have a product that is just for blind people. So you could then work with an influencer that is blind. They can create content about the brand or about the product in terms of making it very authentic, very genuine, nothing awkward, nothing clunky, nothing salesy. The worst marketing is when someone is just rigidly selling it, puts us all off. It's just not good. So yeah, working with influencers, creating really cool, compelling stories, whether that's photos, words, videos, and then that reaching their audience. So that's organic. And it's also, if you are a brand and you're using your own social channels, you could still be creating your own content in different ways and getting the organic reach through the different social media. There's so many different things to digest that I will do other question and answers, maybe on different social platforms. And we can break down a little bit more about content creation. But just as a very broad starter for 10 today, let's just say that organic is where, you are spending some budget on working with a well-known, well-profiled person from a particular community. They create the content, and then you're reaching people without sort of paying more to see them. In terms of paid media, the other side, that obviously is what it says. It's about using the different social platforms, and they have different paid media options. And so the big one is, of course, Facebook. They've been doing it the longest. They've got the most refined way of using their paid situation. And so I guess in the end, you're just trying to work out, when you've got the audience that you're trying to work with and sell to and, you know, engage with and build a relationship with, then paid media is a really phenomenal way to reach more of those people. So back to our previous example, in organic, you might find that a blind influencer has made like a really, really, really awesome bit of content, and it's reached a few percent of their followers organically. You can then, but the metrics are good versus the benchmark, and generally it's gone well as far as organic can go. You would feel more confident to then put some paid budget, and then that would ensure, in this example, that more of those followers of that particular influencer would then be served up that bit of content. So I'm trying to make it really simple as possible, because obviously it depends on the client's business objective, their marketing objectives, what kind of audiences they're targeting. That's obviously going to be a lot of different variables as to how many influencers, how many bits of content, and how much money you put into paid. But just for today's Q&A, as a starter for 10, as I said, that we've got the rest of the year, the rest of my life to keep sharing this sort of details. I'm very happy to go in more detail if there's anything that you would like me to do so for your personal circumstances. Maybe you're an influencer, want to know how to grow your audience. Maybe you're a brand that wants to get more involved with disabled consumers. Like I said earlier, that nothing about us without us. We can help you with that. But also, if you're a brand just generally wanting to understand how to do marketing online in 2021 a lot better and get more value for your money, basically, with your marketing budget, then there's so many different ways we can go into detail with you, and I'll share lots on these live feeds. But today, that big differential of organic and paid is really, really, really powerful. And if you take anything away this year that you implement and execute yourselves, of course, it doesn't have to be with Purple Goat. I'm just doing this to share the love and to help you in your own journeys as well. Then that's the big one for me, is, you know, get the content right, work with good influencers, but then when things are working well in that domain, you can then, using paid media, you can make sure that you reach the right people. And of course, just a couple of little points about paid. You can target age, geography. There's so many different things that you can play around with. And again, we go off into like custom audiences and lookalike audiences, and it gets very, very technical. But definitely, I would just start to read up and play around with these different things, because it's really, really interesting and exciting. On Facebook, Ramat Vaz just said, you helped me a lot. So I'm glad that's landed with someone and had really good value in that perspective anyway. So yeah, if you've got any more questions on today's Q&A that you want me to go deeper, let me know. #AskSibs. And if you've got other questions you'd like me to address in these areas, again, #AskSibs, #AskSibs, and I'll keep queuing them up in future episodes. But as I also said yesterday, I will be doing things around leadership, around management, around personal development, mindset, around just some of the adventures I've done with the travels, and some of the like scuba diving and flying a plane and all that sort of stuff. So don't feel that this is only going to be about Purple Goat or about marketing, but it's a big passion of mine, and I will be addressing it quite a lot. But equally, I'm happy to answer any question on all those other topics as well. So I'm going to say bye to everyone on Instagram down here first. Thank you for tuning in on the live, and I'll see you again tomorrow. Bye-bye. So that's now off. And then I'll come back up to you guys here and say thank you again for watching. Hopefully I can get Instagram connected onto StreamYard eventually and make this less clunky. But most of all, I hope you got some value out of today's episode, and I'll see you again soon. Take care for now. Bye-bye.